Welcome to Founder Fundraising Feedback. My name is Steve. I'm known as the Hands-On Angel, and I've spent the last 9 years talking to 6,000 early stage founders, predominantly at the pre-seed stage, about early stage tech investing. I've personally backed 69 companies to date, and those companies have raised a combined $1.4 billion, that is with a B, and I've had 11 exits to date, and those exits have been all over the place. $15 million, up to $400 million, and everything in between. So if you were new to the room, welcome. If this is your second or third or 10th time, welcome back. Thanks for joining us on this Thursday evening. I hope everybody's had a good day. Feedback on deal structure for early stage accelerators: 10,000 cash, 100,000 safe, 5% rev share. So most accelerators, so I can speak from experience because I'm involved in an accelerator called Techstars, which is probably the second largest accelerator in the world, next to Y Combinator. I've also done business with Launch, which is Jason Calacanis's. Most accelerators give between 50,000 and 200,000. They take anywhere from 5 to 8% equity in the company, and they do programming of anywhere from 6 weeks to maybe 15 weeks of programming. You just have to determine, what is this accelerator going to bring to the table? What's the value of their network, both mentors and founders? Can they help you with go-to-market? Can they help you with technical acumen? Like, what is the gap in your business right now that this accelerator can help fill? I think that's really the question you should really be interested in. What's my personal background? So now I spent 25 years in the US telecom and broadband space. I was fortunate to build two of the largest business services divisions for two of the largest broadband companies in the world, Cox Communications and Comcast. I did that for 25 years. I was very fortunate. I left about 9 years ago to do really what I'm doing now, which is to work with the next generation of founders as an angel investor. And I have a consulting company that helps early stage tech companies get scale via raising money for them, building pitch decks, making introductions, doing partnerships, all the different stuff that I do every day with early stage founders. I've been doing that for about 9 years. I do a lot of stuff with early stage founders and what's called alternative assets, which is art, wine, financial services, Bitcoin, startups, all different types of stuff. So that's sort of my background. How I got to today. I went from being a public market investor predominantly in stocks and real estate 9 years ago to now having a very diverse portfolio of stocks, real estate, startups, art, wine, Bitcoin, a pretty diverse portfolio. So that's a little bit about my background. Have you ever passed on a founder, maintained a relationship, invested later when it made sense? That's a good question. I have. Have I passed on a founder and maintained relationships? Absolutely. Like, this is a people business. Like, I'm a person, so are they. Just because I didn't pull the trigger and invest in their startup doesn't mean they're not a good person. Doesn't mean they can't build a wildly successful company. In some cases, I just don't know enough about the space. And I want to be able to provide ridiculous value to this founder. Like, I don't want to be a passive investor. One of the reasons why the name of my company is Hands-On Angel is I'm hands-on. I want to get my hands dirty. I want to help this founder grow in so many ways. And if I don't know the company, if I don't know the space, if I can't provide ridiculous value, not like good value, great value, ridiculous value, why the heck am I doing this? What are your thoughts on investing in the space of Starlink for customers, right? Starlink. I mean, I was in the US broadband space for 25 years, so I think what Elon has done with Starlink is amazing. Even with the availability of broadband, a large percentage of the world, and the United States for that matter, does not have access to broadband services. So Starlink fills that gap, even in places like planes, ships, etc. As an early stage founder, we need introductions. Our product is really good. What can I do? Define really good. Like, how many people are using it? Do you have revenue? If so, is it growing? If yes, then someone like myself could be extremely helpful. If not, you should spend more time talking to customers and generating revenue. So Alpha, you live in Australia. One of my founders, I actually got off a call with today. I was with him this weekend in Miami. Is actually from Australia. He just moved his company here 2 weeks ago. I'm helping him raise his seed round. Yeah, broadband availability is an issue. What's the best website to find angels for CPG brands outside of LinkedIn? So I was going to say LinkedIn. If not LinkedIn, try Signal FX, Signal FX. Signal is a website where you can Look at companies by investors by stage, pre-seed, seed, Series A, etc. You can look at whether or not they lead. It'll give you the fund name. It'll give you the LPs, angel investors, etc. It'll tell you what sectors they invest in. It'll give you their social profiles. You can download all that information into a CSV and then do authentic reach out to those investors right from the website. It's called Signal FX. Creating a profile is free. I recommend it to all my founders. How can you work for a VC fund? Do a free internship for the summertime, work for free, provide ridiculous value, and help their portfolio companies. They will trip over themselves to hire you. Is a waitlist considered real traction to an investor if there's no revenue net? Here's what I say. Waitlists are good, revenue is better. Waitlists are good, paid pilots are better, revenue is better. A waitlist isn't a bad thing, but if I have two companies, and let's say you're both selling wine glasses, and this one has no wine, has no paying customers, but this one has 100 paying customers and it's filled with wine, this one's just more valuable. That's just the way it is, because a wait list doesn't have any revenue attached. You can't pay your bills. You can't pay your employees. You can't grow. So it's not bad. It's better if you have revenue. So the sooner you can convert that wait list into paid customers, the better you're going to look for investors. I hope that's helpful. You need to establish a pilot. So do user interviews, build content. Literally, you could do a post tonight after you get off this live. You could literally do a post of, I'm building for this. This is the problem we're solving. We're looking for people to be part of our pilot. Put a little form. Here's a type form. Fill out this form. Give us your email. We'd like to get you part of our pilot. That's exactly how I would do it. Build social content around what you're solving, how you're solving it, and who you want to get involved. That's what I would do. Is percent of equity the main offer from the entrepreneur to the venture? Yes. So when an angel investor or a venture capitalist invests in a company, they are investing in exchange for equity in that company. That is absolutely what happens. So LLC is not the optimal structure. Very well said. Optimal depends. If you are a services business, I have a services business, and I'm an LLC. If you do not intend to raise outside venture, I never intend to raise outside venture for my company, you can be an LLC all day long. However, if you intend to raise venture capital, AKA other people's money, and especially if you tend to do it in the United States, they are going to want you to be a C Corp, specifically a Delaware C Corp, which is the most widely used venture structure in the world. I have 69 portfolio companies. Every one of them is a Delaware C Corp. I hope that's helpful, man. Genuinely good advice in here. Different shape than many others on TikTok. I appreciate it, man. Appreciate that. Look, I'm just trying to do my thing. I've been very fortunate over the last 9 years to have thousands of conversations with founders. And what I found is that being a founder is incredibly hard. There's not a lot of good information out there. Founders want to learn. They're eager to learn. And I just think that there's some learnings from my 6,000 conversations and 70 investments that can be helpful to other founders. So thanks so much for your kind words. How is the Delaware C Corp beneficial to the founder, or does it favor the investor only? I think here's how it's beneficial, man. Honestly, it's what investors want. And if you want their money, they're going to want a structure that makes sense. So how it's beneficial to you, it increases your ability to get investors, because without it, especially in the US, it's going to be almost impossible. I spent a half an hour once with a founder arguing on why his Wyoming Corp was more beneficial from a tax perspective. And I said, look, I'm not disagreeing with you, but nobody's going to invest in your company. Like, it's just easier. Great question, by the way. I've done a pivot, selling the old platform we won't use in the new pivot. Any advice? Yeah, start building content around the pivot, what the new product or service is, what advantage it is for customers, and start cutting it up yourself. Put it on the social platforms 3 to 4 times a day, 5 days a week. It's exactly what I would do. I would build content around the pivot. This is why we pivoted. This is the advantage for our clients. This is the new problem we're solving. I would literally build user-generated content around the pivot. Talk about your journey. You know what people love to hear? They don't just love to hear about your success. They love to hear about your failures. Talk about why it didn't work. Talk about why you're changing, why you're pivoting. Be vulnerable. I think that's a wonderful thing to do. Do I think DI mining angels are the first connections on LinkedIn about raising a seed round as the first? Oh, DMing, sorry. I was like, DI mining. Here's what I would do. If you're using LinkedIn, great platform, by the way. I've been on LinkedIn for 20 years. God help me. Go to, let's say you're in Chicago. So do a filter by Chicago and then type the word angel investor in. You're going to get hundreds of angel investors in Chicago. Do not reach out to them right away. What you're going to want to do is going to want to look for first, second, third level connections between the angel investors and you. And then you want to send this message, not to the angel, but to the common connections. And those common connections could be a relative, a friend, a former colleague. Hey there, I noticed you're connected to Steve. He's an active angel investor in the space that we're building a pretty important company in. I was wondering if you might be able to make an introduction to Steve on LinkedIn so we can talk to him a little bit about what we're building, see if he might be willing to be involved, or anyone else in his network. That's it. Don't send a pitch deck. Do not ask them to be in the round. Do that 20 times a day, 5 days a week. You're going to be amazed at what can happen. People want to help people. Be authentic. Again, keep it short, sweet. Ask for their help. Ask for advice, get money. Ask for money, get advice. It's my best advice to founders. What some of your first connections are also angels? I've been on LinkedIn for 15 years too. So if your first level connections, here's the key. When you reach out to them, be authentic about where you are in your journey. Be authentic that you want their help and advice. Do not ask them for money right away. If you send them the pitch deck and you ask them for money right away, it's a huge red flag. I get it all the time. I get 20 of these a day. Hey, Steve, excuse me. I saw you're an angel. Here's my pitch deck. Here's my round. Want to invest? I'm like, what are you, shitting me? Like, what's wrong with you? Like, why would you say that? Like, you don't even know me. You don't even take time to go through my LinkedIn and find out what I like and what I don't. And by the way, it's in my LinkedIn, and I can't tell you how many times founders go through my LinkedIn and don't even pay attention to it. That's what I would do. I literally would do authentic reach out. Here's what I'm building. I'd like your advice. I'd like your feedback. Could we set up 15 minutes? That's exactly what I would do. For those that think they're ready to raise, for those that have a product in market, have paying customers, and are considering raising venture, I do a limited number of one-on-ones with founders every week. There's actually a link in my bio if you want to try to grab a time. Do you recommend founders have a mentor guiding them? I've been fortunate to have some of the most amazing mentors in my life guiding me over the years. I'm now a mentor to others. I don't think that's a bad thing at all. How to write a comment that's longer, new to this. You can check out my website. You can submit some information there. It's handsonangel.com. How do I get your contact to help me more? So King, if you want to schedule time to chat, I do a limited number of one-on-ones with founders every week. There's actually a link in my bio. Check out my bio. There's a link right there. You can schedule a time directly. Have you ever considered starting a community board or similar around what you built here on TikTok? I have. Funny you should mention that. I'm actually working on launching a product right now with a good friend of mine who actually built my website, built my backend for everything I do. And we're in the process of launching a product right now specifically to build a community for founders to learn how to fundraise. And probably will launch in the next couple months. So we're in the process of doing that right now. Thanks so much for the idea. I appreciate that. It's validation that founders want more of this information and it could be valuable. Thanks so much. What's the youngest and oldest founder you've invested in? Great question. Youngest, 22 years old. Oldest, 64, 65. So a pretty big range. I had a founder pitch me 2 weeks ago, MIT founder, second time founder, already had an 8-figure exit. He's 20 years old. It's insane. The early stage founder community is getting younger every day. I've been asked to speak at a ton of universities in the last 2 years that when I went to college, there was no such thing as you couldn't major in entrepreneurship. Now, most major universities allow you to major or minor in entrepreneurship. It's fascinating. How are you involved in Techstars? Okay. So this is from Edu. Edu, thanks for the question. I'm a mentor in residence. I've been a mentor in residence for Techstars for 4 years. It's been a true blessing in my life. I mentor anywhere between 6 and 12 companies a year through their global accelerator. I've been involved in the Techstars accelerators in Boston, Columbus, Minneapolis, Ireland, and the Techstars Anywhere program. I don't get paid by them. I don't want to get paid. I get access to every Techstars company in the world that's raising money, so it's really fun. It's exciting. It's been awesome. My industry expertise. So I spent 25 years in the US broadband space. So I have expertise in telecom, broadband technologies, Internet of Things, the internet. I'm a former athlete. I have experience in sports tech. I'm into health and fitness. So I have experience in health tech, fintech. I know how money moves. I've done a bunch of investments there. Those are probably the biggest industries that I have experience in. How critical do you think timing is when it comes to launching ideas? I think timing matters. I think some companies win or lose because of timing. Sometimes it's just the market or timing. It has very little to do with the idea being good or bad. I think that happens a lot, actually. It's a great point. Any advice for the Techstars application? Yeah, put yourself in as good a position as you can possibly put it in to be ready, meaning have a product in market, have paying customers, understand your weakness, understand where your company might be weak or strong. What are your strengths and weaknesses for that? Understand where the accelerator can help you grow faster. What are the weaknesses in your company and why do you want to be in this accelerator? I think that's incredibly important. I will tell you that whether it's Techstars or Y Combinator, it's more competitive than ever. For example, for the last cohort that I was involved with last fall, we had 2,000 applications. We accepted 7 companies, less than 1%. So be as good as you can be as ready as you can be, and understand your weaknesses and how the accelerator can help you accelerate what you're doing. How can I start with small investments in a local community? King, check out AngelList. AngelList is a platform that I've used extensively in my years to write small checks into early stage tech companies. You can flex your check from $1,000 to $100,000. That way, depending upon your tolerance, your budget, you can flex your check. So check out AngelList. Do you think pre-revenue but good potential products can get investments? I will tell you that I've done 69 investments in the last 9 years. I've looked at 6,000 companies. I've only invested pre-product, pre-revenue once. It was a multi-time founder, had built $1 billion business prior. He was building a new business in the same vertical. So there was and I knew him for 2 years. That's the only reason I did it. So is it possible? Yes. Is it harder? Absolutely. Especially with technology nowadays being less expensive to build than it ever has. When one subscribes to your newsletter, is there a confirmation email? You'll just start getting the newsletter. It comes out every Wednesday. So if you subscribe today, you'll get it next Wednesday. It comes out Wednesday, 11 a.m. Eastern time. If for some reason next Wednesday at 11 a.m. doesn't come out, just shoot me a note. My email is help@handsonangel.com. I'm happy to make sure you're on it. But I appreciate that. And for those that are asking what he's talking about, or he or she is talking about, I have a free newsletter, comes out every Wednesday. It's this yellow up arrow, bottom left of the screen. Just click on that. You can join my newsletter. It comes out 11 a.m. Eastern time every Wednesday. Free tips and tactics on where to find investors and what investors look for. My gift to you is a thank you for coming on the live today. Do you think we meet X amount of money to start a digital business? I think you need less money to start a business today than ever. And it's because technology has become less expensive than ever. That's my opinion. Do I also invest in Web3? I do. About a quarter of my projects, I have 69 portfolio companies. About 25% of them are either in fintech, blockchain, or Web3. I invest in a bunch of infrastructure projects. I'm not a token guy, but I love things that can put on chain. I love smart contracts. I love people building interesting things. I was actually at the Consensus Conference last week in Miami with one of my blockchain crypto companies because we're doing a $2 million seed round and we got the first $300,000 in commitments for that round down in Miami last week. So I do invest in blockchain. Do I invest in money management firms? I don't. It's not my forte. I don't invest. I'm usually a early stage pre-seed tech investor. So I invest in the first real venture round of capital. 80% of what I've done has been B2B, businesses selling to other businesses, while 20% has been consumer. The types of industries I spend time in: fintech, financial services; ed tech, my dad was a principal; sports tech, I'm a former college athlete; prop tech, I do real estate investing; AI, SaaS, health tech, I've done some API stuff that connects with wearables. Those are the most of the verticals that I've done. Do you still invest aggressively now that AI is easier? I look at 30 deals a week. I'm involved in 4 deals right now, 2 of which are current portfolio companies doing their seed round that I help raise their pre-seed round for, and 2 that are raising a pre-seed round, which are first-time clients of mine. I've built a few successful businesses. I want to invest in other businesses just as to start. Sure. Check out the book Angel by Jason Calacanis, Angel. If you don't like to read, it's on Audible or audiobooks. I read this book 9 years ago. It's when I started angel investing. I've done my first 10 angel investments with Jason. I'm now at investment 69. It was a huge help in how to get started in angel investing, how to write small checks into companies, how to double down on the winners, and most importantly, how to provide ridiculous value to those companies. So check it out. What do you look for in pre-seed? Pre-idea works for pre-seed. I don't look at pre-idea. I do look at pre-seed companies, but post-product, post-revenue. I look for badass founders doing incredible things in big markets. I look for founders that have the ability to recruit talent to help them at their company. And I look for founders that can sell their product, can sell customers, can sell employees to work with them, and can sell investors. Those are probably the top three things I look for. When do you know if a company is deep in trouble or it's time to get out? When they have less than 3 months of runway, when they have no path to get investment, when sales are going backwards, when churn is going up and to the right while revenue is going down. Those are the telltale signs things are going wrong. How do we find the right angel investors? Well, first it starts with building a great company, building a great product, getting it in front of as many people as possible, and figuring out are they willing to pay for it. That's where it starts. After that, you can find great investors. I got a startup company for a year now. I have 4 contracts in LA. I want to get more contracts. Build social content, build user-generated content, film it yourself, cut it up on CapCut, throw it on the social platforms 3 times a day, 5 days a week. That's where I would start. Since you have health tech experience, what do you think of it? I think health tech needs more tech. I think the healthcare system is broken. I think that's a problem. I think technology can bring amazing advances in the health tech space. One of my portfolio companies built an API that connects to over 1,000 wearables and allows them to transmit data to different constituents and cohorts. I think it's awesome.